Greetings and welcome to episode 28 of Change Your Focus, a mindfulness podcast designed to inspire and center you. I am Dr. Aiko-Douglas, your host, transformational life coach, life integration specialist, and mindfulness practitioner, here to empower you to transform your life one mindful decision at a time. I'm also here to encourage you to be mindful of the products you use on and in your body, as well as the products you use around your home. So, today's episode is about emotion. Now, I invite you to contemplate this quote by martial artist and teacher, actor, director, and founder of Jeet Kune Do martial arts, Bruce Lee. Emotion can be the enemy if you give into your emotion. You lose yourself. You must be at one with your emotions because the body always follows the mind. I'm going to read that again. Emotion can be the enemy if you give into your emotion, you lose yourself. You must be at one with your emotions because the body always follows the mind. When I contemplate this quote, I am reminded that having feelings doesn't mean I am my feelings. I can feel my feelings arise within me, listen to their signals, that's all it is a signal, and make choices from an informed, intentional, responsive space, meaning I don't have to be reactive, correct? I don't have to react to every emotion I experience. Once I am at one with my emotions, my body releases this tension, right? Because I'm no longer fighting against that emotion or shoving it down or anything else. I become one with it. I listen to it, right? I allow it to be. I accept it within me. And so, again, I don't have to brace myself for anything that's coming. I don't have to push anything down. I don't have to deny any feelings that are less than ideal. I can just be with them as they are, right? Because if we are denying our feelings, then they also stay locked in our body and they cause pain and suffering and dis-ease. Know that, okay? So for me, it was a journey and I had to build my EQ, my emotional intelligence, by becoming aware of my feelings. Like literally being able to name the feeling I was feeling was that simple. And then also be able to identify, well, what caused this feeling within me to arise? And then I learned to make peace with those feelings that were, again, less than ideal. And then allowing them to simply exist without judgment. That's a really big part of it, right? Not judging those feelings that maybe are not so high vibrational, just allowing them to be what they are. And then choosing how I wanted to respond versus allowing those feelings to control me and react in erratic ways and ways that didn't feel good for me or others. So I also had to learn to set boundaries when I became aware of the situations and the people that triggered me or caused these feelings to show up, right? So when I knew I might be around people who perhaps trigger me, right? I made several choices. One, I would ask myself, well, do I have to be around this person? And if not, then, I can opt out, right? So that was one thing. And then two, um, choosing like, okay, if I am going to be around this person, what are some things that I can do to prepare myself? I can remain aware of who they are, right? And how they show up and the things that they say and do that could cause me to feel or react in less ideal ways, less than my highest self. Just become aware of that, even. And then also be mindful and say, okay, I'm going to set this intention. I'm going to choose to respond to this moment or this situation in a healthy manner instead of allowing it to control me, right? And so that's really a big part. Or even the other part of this is you could choose, right, depending upon what surrounding you're in with the person that may be a trigger, is to say, well, I'm just going to ignore that person or distance myself while I'm in that space. So these are the things that I did. And then three, um, being aware, like, well, have I even communicated to this person? One, is this a person that I really love and care and have to be around in some situation? Like maybe are they family? And have I communicated, right? Like how the things that they may say or do make me feel. Like, have I shared? These are the things that sometimes cause me pause or maybe some anxiety or anything else that trigger me. Like, have I really had that conversation and given this person like my perspective on the thing, basically giving them the benefit of the doubt, right? Because we are all operating in our own space, and some people are not even aware that they are causing us to feel certain things, or certain things are coming up for us emotionally when they do certain things. Some people don't even know. Like, I've had conversations with people, particularly in my family, and yeah, it's like, oh, I had no idea that this was happening. And once they were aware, they could make different choices, right? That felt better for both of us. And then again, there are some people, and this is the fourth thing, right? If you're aware and you know that you have communicated your boundaries to this person, you've shared like, these are the things, this is how it makes me feel, and maybe next time could you do it this way or not do it at all or whatever it is. Well, let's say you've communicated your boundary more than once and you know this is a person that just is not respecting that at all. Then you, again, you have a choice. We always have a choice, right? So it's like, what do I want to do? One, do I have to be around this person? If not, then I could just choose not to. I don't have to go to that thing, or I don't have to be around this person. And if it is a person that you have to, right? Maybe it's a person at work that you have to deal with, or a family member that it's impossible to avoid. Then again, choosing to have minimal contact with, as little as you can. And then also knowing, right, like being intentional, saying, okay, I know this is who this person is. I don't have to take the things that they say or do personally, and I'm going to choose to not take them personally and not even respond, right? If something comes up, I'll allow that to be within me, knowing that I don't have to react or anything. So preparing yourself for those things that may cause your emotions to get out of place, right? Really becoming in sync, allowing that mind to take a bit of control and just bring you a different perspective again, so you're not making the things about you that are really about that other person, just who they are, right? So that's something to be mindful of and aware, because at all times you are responsible for protecting your peace and nobody else. And you have that power and that control. So another thing that I noticed as I matured is that, like many women, right, during a certain time of the month, during my cycle, I would become more emotional, sensitive, less patient, and occasionally rage would even surface for me. And so, as I began to notice this pattern, I would practice supportive mindfulness practices. And these really help me thrive through those tough moments of the month. And I don't want to say tough, because sometimes it's not tough. It's just the emotions are coming up and I allow them to. Whereas before, I think there was a bit of judgment and I would feel some type of way. And now I know this is who I am. This is my body. This is how it works. And yeah, I don't have to make any other narratives about it. I can just allow those things to be when they show up for me. And that has felt really good. And then also, in addition to practicing some supportive mindfulness practices around that time of the month, I know that if my patience is already less than ideal during this time, I make choices, right, to avoid certain situations and people that would require me to have optimum patience because I already know this is not a time for that, right? And I don't push myself or force myself or beat myself up to say I should. I just trust that right now is not the time. So I'll refrain from doing the things, being around the people or situations that may require of me what I know at that moment I cannot give 100% of. So that's another thing. That's awareness, right? That is a mindfulness practice. So very important for us to be making those so that we stay in sync and in harmony with our emotions and the universe for that matter. So also, in addition to making those mindfulness choices, knowing that emotional intelligence like really is awareness, right? It's awareness. So if I am aware, again, that certain people, certain situations cause me to feel less than my optimum highest self, if I'm aware that certain times of the month things show up for me, this awareness helps me make choices that support me thriving in all areas emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, and that is important. So, again, knowing what emotions are in my body, that I learned to identify those emotions, right? Like, okay, this emotion shows up during this time, or when this is said, or when this is done, or when I'm around this person. Just simply being aware has made the difference. And then once I'm knowing the emotions, as I've identified them in my body, where does that sit in my body? Where do I feel it most? Do I feel it heavy in my chest? Do I feel it in my stomach? Just like noticing, right? I feel this sadness in my heart. Maybe it's in my heart. But just knowing what the emotion is, where to sit in my body, and maybe what has caused it to surface, and then how to best flow through it and respond if I need to. Not just allow it to be, most importantly, accepting it, not judging it, and not reacting, right? So that has been the process. We must also be aware of if we are choosing to wallow in any emotions, whether that's low vibrational or high vibrational, right? We cling to these emotions. We want to just feel joy all the time. I actually used to be that way, right? Just wanted to be like really happy all the time, and that was causing me to really shove down lower vibrational feelings instead of feeling them and allowing them to come up and out, right? And like, I don't know if I've shared this yet, but in one of my episodes I have, right, having all those feelings, I would cling to those low vibrational feelings too when they came up, right? Instead of just allowing them to be and not making any extra narratives about them, but just simply accepting them and then allowing them to flow out of my body, right? And choosing maybe some somatic practices to help them move and shift and release without me choosing to react. Very important, okay? So, again, are you in a feeling that you're choosing to wallow in? Like maybe melancholy is a thing for you and you choose to wallow in that quite often, and you're noticing that you stay attached to the experiences and the people that cause that, and you just play those things over in your head, right? Because it starts in your head. Your mind is playing it, and then you're experiencing these emotions. When really you can control that, you can stop playing the scenarios over that cause the feeling that you didn't want to feel, and then still causing your body to feel that over and over and over again. That's stressing the body, and that is not healthy, right? So it's really important knowing that while someone or something might cause us pain, we don't have to keep reliving the pain and causing ourselves to suffer, okay? We can choose to let things go, and we can choose to let people go, right? That's most important. You have control of who you want to be in your life. So it's very important. There was a time when I went through some tough emotional things in my life, right? Which I've shared here in this space before. And it seemed like, I don't know, the easiest thing to do was just to shove those emotions down, like I've said, right? And just keep on trucking. However, those things caused dis-ease to settle in my body. And then when I finally got tired enough of feeling that way in my body and recognizing, oh, there was a direct link, right? Link. I chose to make the choices that felt good and release the people again and the things and sometimes the choices that I was making, right? It wasn't always other things. Like I know that I had a choice. Do I want to be around this person? Do I want to be on this job? Do I want to, because I have control of that, right? If I'm knowing that this job is not bringing me peace, it's not bringing me joy, I can choose. I have many skills. I can learn whatever I need to learn to be doing what I love doing that brings me joy so that I can show up every day and feel good, right? So I started to make those aligned choices with my life in all areas. And that really allowed me to thrive emotionally. And again, continue building my emotional intelligence. It all started with awareness, right? And so that has been really, really amazing. If you want to hear more stories about the different emotional challenges I went through based on my experiences, you can definitely go back and listen to some of the previous podcast episodes where I share those specific stories. But yeah, just becoming aware and knowing that you have the power to make the choices that feel good for you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in any way. It's all a part of being mindful. Okay. So, let's see. Oh, according to neuroscientist Dr. Jill Taylor, emotions are a chemical process that lasts about 90 seconds in the body. That's it. This is because the body releases chemicals during strong emotions that are flushed out within 90 seconds as it tries to maintain balance. However, emotions can feel like they last longer because the mind can re-trigger the chemical process of emotional arousal. This is called the refractory period, which is how long someone chooses, again, it is your choice, to let their emotions or emotional reactions last. Like that is it, folks. When you're finding yourself in any emotion for longer than 90 seconds, it's because you're choosing to wallow in it. Whoa, right? So, um, as you contemplate Bruce Lee's quote, let's prepare for our breath work. I invite you to sit on the floor cross-legged or in a chair with your feet flat on the floor to ground yourself. Your spine will be straight and your neck an extension of your spine. And once you're comfortable in this position, close your eyes. Now for today's breath, we will practice the Ujjayi breath. We've done this one before. The tongue will touch the roof of your mouth with your mouth closed. You're breathing in and out of your nose. So we also call this the ocean breath, right? And it sounds very much like the ocean as you're inhaling and exhaling. Let's begin. Again, your tongue is touching the roof of your mouth. And you should hear the ocean, the sound of the ocean. Sounds very similar as you inhale and exhale. And stay connected to this breath. And notice what happens in your body as you continue to engage in this Ujjayi breath. Eyes closed, breathing deeply and slowly, the Ujjayi breath. notice whatever sensations come up in your body. Beginning the top of your head and moving all the way down to the soles of your feet. Notice what this breath is doing within your body. Most importantly, notice how you feel. How did you feel before we began? And how do you feel now? I invite you to release this breath. Continue breathing at a deep, slow pace. Continuing to observe what is happening in your body. As you're staying connected to each inhale and each exhale, notice what emotions arise. And as the emotions arise, name them. Identify every emotion that comes up for you as you are breathing. Just say what it is. Say, "Hi, sadness. I welcome you. I greet you." Or say, "Hello, joy. You're welcome here. I greet you." Any other emotion that shows up, simply acknowledge it, call it what it is, accept it, and allow it to be and dwell in your body in this moment. Staying connected to your breath, shifting your attention throughout your body, and noticing the emotions that arise. Also notice where you feel those emotions. If you feel it in your heart, acknowledge that. If you feel it in your stomach, acknowledge. Or perhaps you feel them in your legs. Notice wherever you feel whatever emotion you identify. And once you have scanned your entire body from head to toe, made it all the way to your feet, staying connected to your breath, and identifying the emotions that arise, I invite you to take the deepest breath you have taken all day. Then I invite you to place your right hand over your heart and place your left hand over your lower abdomen, right below your navel, your sacral chakra. And as you are feeling whatever feeling showed up for you, take another deep breath. And say say to those emotions, thank you for guiding me, for helping me to become aware of what is happening in my body. I accept you, I allow you, and I release you. And allow those emotions on each exhale to be released from your body. Remember, they only stay with you for 90 seconds if you allow. So on the exhale, breathing out those emotions and expressing gratitude for each one of them, no matter what it was all a signal. So thanking the emotions for showing up as you breathe them out. Thank you, sadness. Thank you, joy. And any other emotions that showed up for you. Release them on the exhale and thank them. And once you've released final emotion, take another really deep breath and slowly begin to feel the seat beneath you, perhaps wiggling your fingers, your toes, stretching and opening your eyes whenever you are ready. And how do you feel now? Now, to complete our mindfulness session for today, please affirm by repeating after me. I accept, feel, express, and release my emotions in healthy ways. Good. Let's say that again. I accept, feel, express, and release my emotions in healthy ways. Great. One last time. I accept, feel, express, and release my emotions in healthy ways. Beautiful. I invite you to be mindful, breathe deep often, and contemplate ways you can be at peace with your emotions and experience them harmoniously. Remember, mindfulness is always available to us every minute of every day. May we use each minute to be mindful. I am Dr. Aiko-Douglas, your host, transformational life coach, life integration specialist, and mindfulness practitioner, here to empower you to transform your life one mindful decision at a time. I'm also here to encourage you to be mindful of the products you use on and in your body, as well as the products you use around your home. If you found this podcast through social media, please share which platform in the comments below. Also, remember to like, share, and subscribe on all social media platforms to follow my journey. And join my exclusive community on Patreon at Integr8 Lyfe. Thank you for tuning in, listening, engaging, and being mindful with me today. Namaste. sure to tune in next week for episode 29. It's all about success, defining it for yourself.